Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
When it's time to scale your business, it's time for Shopify. Get everything you need to grow the way you want. Like, all the way. Stack more sales with the best converting checkout on the planet. Track your cha-chings from every channel, right in one spot. And turn real-time reporting into big-time opportunities. Take your business to a whole new level. Switch to Shopify. Start your free trial today.
The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how. I'm Open Mike Eagle.
And I'm Anna Marie Cox, and this is Past Due.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's literally just afternoon here. I know the time zone
right.
Always.
Right.
It's always
it always feels like morning when we talk.
Yes.
But I guess it never is for you.
No, I don't think we ever tape early enough for it to be morning for me. This is the stuff we're going to cut because it's not super exciting.
I'll leave it to the person who does the cutting. And
anyway, Mike, it's been a second.
It has been a while since we've just chatted, me and you.
Yeah.
It's been quite some time.
So you are a prolific and busy person. So
yeah, it's actually crazy now.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy. Like, I'm feeling it. I feel like, this might be too many plates is what I'm starting to feel these last, like this week specifically. But I think not only is it the number of things that I am doing, it is also because it is incredibly hot, and it is not easy for me to sleep well when it's incredibly hot. And so I have poor sleep every night, and I wake up and have to do 50 things that are all difficult.
Do you not have AC?
I do not have AC.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think it's like, it's not literally illegal to have a house, to sell a house or rent a house without AC here, but like it's going to be 100-something today. Yeah,
Texas, I imagine, they need some regulations in place there to make sure that people aren't selling each other ovens to live in.
There are literally regulations around heat, like you have to have heating, but I don't know if there's actual regulations around AC. But you were going to have an AC, like it's impossible to exist in this point without ACs here. Which is a whole other issue. Like the stress on the grid, the fact that like we use ACs so much, like is itself leading to problems with the climate, which leads to more heat. It's a never ending cycle. But so what is remind folks what it is you're up to.
August 14th, which is very, very soon. I have a new album coming out. And this is the album that has been dealing with the breakup that I had been going through over the past year. But, we're in it now. So like just yesterday, shooting a music video. We had a music video that came out already. It's all these veils for interviews and all of that, and trying to make sure we're getting the word out about everything. And so that's just the stuff with the album. And I'm about to go on tour in a couple of weeks as well. And so that's just the music stuff. And then, I just finished the screenplay, and I'm about to start taking meetings on the screenplay.
Oh my God.
So I have to build the deck around the screenplay so I can have meetings, because that's what I want to be doing next year, is making this film. but I got to figure out how to get money for it and all of that jazz. I'm finishing my National Public Housing Museum residency project. That I started that residency last November, and I'm supposed to finish a project this year to present for that, and I'm hard at work on it. I'm not finished, and so that's something that's happening all the time. And then our podcast, and I have 2 other podcasts that are.
I didn't even know you had other podcasts.
Well, so okay, I have one that's old, but I'm in production on a new season of it. And I have one which was that thing me and you had talked about, like with iHeart under Questlove's umbrella,
right?
That we're just starting pre-production for that now as well. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's too much.
Yeah, but it's what you got to do.
It is. As a kid, you got to do too much.
Yeah.
But I do think this is my too much. Like I used to not think I had it too much, but this is my too much.
Yeah, it's hard. Mm-hmm. And you just got to do it. I know what that is like.
Yeah, because I kept agreeing to stuff. And then you look up and like, oh, I don't have a moment. And you know, trying to have a personal life in there to some degree as well, for sanity's sake. And I'm a parent, you know, like there's a lot. There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
Too much.
Thank you for taking the time to continue doing this podcast. Right.
I enjoy this podcast. and see, like the thing about this podcast and my other one, the one that's in production, is a show called What Had Happened Was. That one is a show about like classic hip hop albums. And so it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's about showing love to these classic projects. So it like feels bigger than me, which is good. Like, and this to a even further degree, like, oh, this is about like, this is a show that I feel like is a service to the creative community. Because so many of us are in this tough spot, and so many of us often feel alone. All the reasons that you wanted to start doing this in the first place, they only become more and more clear and feel more and more important with every conversation that we have. So like this one, like I love doing this one. Like this one is the one that's like, I feel like it's doing some good in the world. and it's not just about my own, egotistical creative whims, which sort of dominates the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love doing this podcast too, and I miss it when we're not doing it. My mental health is worse, I think, when my podcasts are not happening. So this is my community, you know. This is where I get to like hang out with people that I like and hear what's going on with them. So it's not always the same people except for you, but get to hang out with you. And sometimes we hang out just the two of us like this. So.
Right. And we don't get enough of this as far as I'm concerned. I know that, and I don't know how much we've even talked about this on the show. I know you like unplugged for a little bit and like had a little, I don't even know what you want to call it. So it wasn't a getaway.
Yeah, I went to Marfa, Texas. But also like, it's funny because I have, you know, I'm tired of my own like mental health bullshit, you know? Like, I am so sick and tired of like trying to figure this out. Like, although it was, what I would say about the Marfa trip is that it was really good in a lot of ways, but also like I was on one of the new medications and it wound up kind of screwing me up a little bit. But I keep thinking about how like, you know the story about that congressman that took 4 months off to deal with his depression?
Yeah. The saddest, lamest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You know, like part of me is like, good for him. Like literally, like, you know, people deserve to have their mental health attended to.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, I have had to take some time off in order to deal with some of this stuff. And it's been interesting, and I've been writing about it on my Patreon, actually, to think of it from a perspective of just clinically almost. Like the journey I went through with the one medication that wound up kind of screwing with me enough in Marfa that I was like having panic attacks. Is, there's a lot of reasons that people might doubt like the efficacy of antidepressants, right? Because you don't feel them working necessarily. And there's a lot of evidence that the placebo effect plays a huge role. And that we don't, like all interventions for pharmapsychology are pretty much guesses because the brain is such a mysterious,
right.
such a mysterious thing. And like they don't work for a lot of people. As you may know, you have to a lot of people have to switch around and try to find something that really works for them. And I think even for me, I can get kind of like, I don't know if this is working or not. Right.
Right.
But to have a medication like completely screw with me was an interesting example to me of like, oh, right. My brain is like, there's like chemicals in your brain. That
right. And these other chemicals do operate some sort of levers, and you saw the effect of it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, there is really something happening.
Like it ain't just placebo.
Yeah,
over
there's like a thing that happened in my brain that drove me just a little crazy. And then I got on a new med, and like that's the thing I've been keeping up with on my Patreon. I've been calling it the Lithium Diaries, because lithium is such a fascinating story in the history of like pharmacology. It was originally like there's evidence that like the ancient Greeks used it to treat melancholia, right? And bathed in mineral. There was, when people talk about taking the waters, like mineral waters, like lithium is one of the minerals that's present in those minerals in those hot springs. But then like in the mid 1800s, it was kind of discovered as its own element. And like whatever experiments showed that it dissolved uric acid. This is going to make I promise there's a point coming. And so the first thing that it was used for was to treat gallstones, but it doesn't actually dissolve gallstones. And then it became like a patent medicine, and people like hawked it off, like, like.
Right, like the medicine men.
Like medicine men. Right. Yeah. It was in 7-Up. That's what the up is in 7-Up.
Oh.
Like Coca-Cola with cocaine.
I didn't know that the up was a drug direction in 7-Up at all. I had no idea.
And it was after it became a patent medicine that in like just after World War II, that people started experimenting with it for treatment of bipolar disorder or mania specifically. But it's been very slow to be adopted, even though it's one of the most effective drugs that's been shown. But like in the 1940s or something, I think the 1940s, maybe early 50s, there was a group of psychologists in Michigan that wanted to do some studies at a hospital up there using lithium for bipolar patients. And it's not a drug. It's literally like the thing you dig out of the ground. So they ordered like a kilo of lithium from a geologist supplier and then took it to a pharmacy and had it put in capsules. Like...
That's that raw dope.
That's what it is. And even today, it was approved for use to treat in psychiatry in really late United States. The United States is like the 72nd country to adopt it. And that's because no drug company would apply to distribute it because
you can't necessarily patent it because it's straight from out of the ground.
Yeah, there is a patent for like the slow release. There is a tablet that's a slow release, but the medication that I was on that wound up driving me a little bit crazy, it's called Vraylar, and
it sounds like a villain.
I won't make you guess how much it is a month without insurance. I'll just tell you, it's between $5,000 and $8,000 a month.
That's too much. That's too many dollars.
I will make you guess how much lithium is a month without insurance.
$400.
$10 to $50.
That's a lot less dollars. for a more effective, well, in your experience, it's been a much more effective.
I mean,
drug.
People don't. There's reasons why people don't like it. Number one, it is poisonous. At too high.
Mildly, because alcohol is poisonous, right?
So is it your kidneys will shut down if you take too much of it.
Oh gosh.
Okay. And so you have to have your blood monitored pretty regularly, like every few weeks, every couple months. You have to get a blood test.
How much does that cost?
That's free in my current plan. And even if it wasn't free, it'd probably be pretty cheap. It wouldn't be very much. It's just a regular blood test just to make sure your blood is, normal. And then also, and this was the thing I could talk about in relationship to our show, I have not currently at a totally therapeutic dose. I am at a mild dose. But a very common thing that happens when you start lithium, especially as you increase the dose, is that you get brain fog. And Mike, I felt what it was like to have my primary means of making a living taken away from me.
From the lithium?
Yeah.
So
it's gone now, but it's very common for when you jump up in dosage.
And then how long did it take for you to get through that?
About a month. It was horrifying.
Oh, gosh.
It was.
So then what was I'm sure you had to make things in that month. I don't think you were able to
it was almost impossible. The way that it affected me was that I would look at, so this paper, I wound up writing this thing that it was actually just finished doing fact checked on about the history about the dream of a female president. Mm-hmm. And it goes through, I can tell you what the finished product is. And the finished product I'm fairly proud of, but I spent a month it has a lot of, I'm starting and stopping a lot of sentences here. I spent a couple of weeks interviewing people. And during that phase, what I noticed was that my brain wouldn't hang on to what people said. I have been able my whole life. I don't have a perfect memory, but in journalism, you learn in an interview, you'll hear something and think that sentence, that phrase, right? That's what I want to use. And that wasn't happening.
So, right.
And then I was reading things, and I don't know how to explain it, except that I would be reading something, and especially if there were numbers in it, and I was reading academic studies about voter support for female candidates.
Which is not easy stuff to hold on to.
And it felt like my brain was Teflon. It really made me feel I have friends who've gotten long COVID. Mm-hmm. And I think I've heard people talk about brain fog. And I had a really hard time functioning. I wound up having to take the piece was really late. And I've never, and then writing, I just looked at the page. And it wasn't like writer's block in the sense, writer's block for me, and I don't know if this is something you've experienced, writer's block for me is often, I don't want to, it's not that I don't want to write, but it's just frustration. And the words aren't quite right. I have something, but I don't know. I need to toy with it. This was looking at the page and having the words just not come
to you.
Yeah.
And which had to be the most bizarre experience for you as a lifelong writer.
It was the strangest thing. This is one of the most strangest things. I've had a manic episode, which I've talked about, and the manic episode was really horrifying. but also different in that even as it was happening and it was really scary, there was a part of me that could believe that it wouldn't last forever. And also, and this is neither good nor bad, it was so encompassing that I didn't really have like a notion of, well, another thing is I thought I was pretty competent. Like during the episode, I wasn't worried about my words not coming. In fact, they were coming.
Yeah, your productivity was right. It was the other direction.
Yeah. With this, there was the fear in the back of my head that what if this is just gone?
Life. Yeah. What if this is life now?
Yeah. So that's what
I'm glad that was temporary.
It's turned out to be. I still feel a little off my game, but I think that might just be rustiness, like needing to come back, need to talk to you, like reading. I've been doing more puzzles.
Just keeping the blade sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, that's what I've been up to lately. I actually skipped a couple weeks of the Lithium Diaries because I was working on this story, but the story was really all consuming. And it did remind me in a really powerful way that the act of writing is really good for me. I think I forget that all the time.
If you're looking for some of the sharpest takes on film and television, I hope you'll tune in to Critics at Large from The New Yorker.
Over here at Critics at Large, we like talking about what we loved, but crucially, what we hated about what we're watching.
But even more, we like making sense of what's happening in the culture right now and how we got here.
Join us as we make our way from Eddington to Moby Dick, from Ted Lasso to the rise in therapy speak, from The Pit to Luigi Mangione.
It's Critics at Large from The New Yorker, wherever you get your podcasts.
I have a different relationship to my work than you do. I'm much more think about it too much. I think about my
at every phase. Do you think about it too much?
I like to torture myself with thinking about how I should be doing stuff.
Even creatively.
Yeah. And
you know what I find?
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of conversations lately. I was in a symposium this week where we were like, me and some other artists were sort of just sharing best practices for like getting our work out there and our experiences with that. And what typically comes up in these conversations for me is the separation I have between like the part of me that creates and the part of me that like markets things. But what I find is that, like, okay, I've completed an album, turned it all in to, get it all mixed, mastered, packaged, everything. I'd say about 2 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And I do a thing where I go from actively writing, refining, listening, making choices about this project every day until the day I turn it in. And then I won't listen to it again until sometime in the future. Like it'll be out already. I'm probably going to do some sort of like, live stream the day it's out. And it'll be the first time I've listened to it in months because like I've completely left that part of myself to the point where it's jarring. Like I sometimes can't remember what the creative part of myself was trying to accomplish.
Oh, wow.
Like the choice. And so I think in one sense, and I brought this up because in you talking about overthinking at every step, it's like, oh, I guess if I was just my creative self all the time, I'd be doing that too. But because I shift into this other mode, I can't do that anymore. But the problem is that I lose a bit of the connection that I have to the creative parts of myself when the project is out in the world. And sometimes that feels not great.
Yeah, advantages and disadvantages to both approaches, right? I mean, I think that you are more
contrast for sure
productive than I am because you have a stronger compartmentalization skills.
Yeah.
Than I do.
Yeah, that is my superpower.
Yeah. And I overthink and worry and compare myself and get lost in that part of the creative process, which is just, I mean, if everyone who's listening, if you're in creative, like, that is a pretty useless, pretty useless use of my time. I will give myself a slight break because it's also normal. And it's also indicative of, rumination is like one of the things that, not particularly well mind gets really used to. There's interesting data that I find really comforting in a way because it just shows how normal all this stuff is that rumination is a really it's one of those maladaptive but understandable reactions to stress, because stress is really uncomfortable and stress really hurts. Stress is overwhelming, and to ruminate on stuff is comfortable. Like it's kind of it's easier. I want to be kind. It is a strategy to minimize what feels like it would be more pain, is to just sit around and ruminate about familiar things that you've been ruminating about.
Does any of your rumination come from an impulse or a desire to like be the best?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
perfectionism is like huge.
I do think that, like, is it too far to say that part of it is useful?
There are things that are useful, I think, about all of it, right?
I see.
Again, it's protective. And also, I think even jealousy can be instructive in showing us what it is we think we want. But then there's also the question you have to ask yourself, which is that what I really want? Do I really want, I think I've used this example before, but I was on LinkedIn, which I should just never do. I never have a good experience on LinkedIn. I always it's
completely
performative.
Agree. I hate it there.
Happiness. Like everyone is just putting out the happiest version of themselves, like doing great. Everyone's always, talking about the thing they did latest that's awesome. Which I understand, but it's such a strange.
It is strange because it's not. Okay, this is the part that bothers me about it, because it's that, but it's also the direction that it leans in. Like it leans in not only performing wellness, but performing wellness with like corporate values.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's even worse.
Please should be starting today at.
Right.
And I also am seeing, I see a lot of journalists that I know, pleased to be, after 25 years in journalism, pleased to be starting at, some corporate startup or doing PR for, but they never say PR. I'm leading storytelling about entrepreneurs.
Wow. Okay. Is PR a dirty word in writing? Is it a pejorative?
I think that it is pejorative everywhere. I think most corporate places would rather have their PR department be described as like narrative engagement with the public.
I'll say in music, everybody embraces it because it's such an important part of the process. And
I think if you have a thing that you're selling,
I see.
I think it's a little different
versus just like overall brand management type of. I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think like brand management is considered more than PR. I mean, I'm sure some people are called PR, but like, especially for a journalist transitioning into that.
Right. I
think. I see. So I need to not go on LinkedIn, but one of the things that struck me on LinkedIn is I have I acquaintance from my DC days that's now, I think he is head of storytelling at OpenAI.
Oh God! So he had a rough day yesterday.
I don't know exactly what he does there, but he had something on LinkedIn today, and I always have moments where I'm wondering, should I have sold out at some point? Not that I had any real opportunities, but wouldn't it be nice to know that I can pay my mortgage next month?
Right.
Like, would I be able, if I could, and I did get the chance to ask myself, would I take a job? Would I take that job? And
would you take the job that he has?
Yeah. Would I take a job at OpenAI? Would I take a job at Substack? Right.
Ooh, yeah, that's cutting to the bone, right? So what is the answer? Would you take a job at Substack?
I think at this point, it would be very hard for me to do that. I mean, things suck right now. I mean, money wise, like I'm cutting it real close to the bone the next couple months. Like, subscribe, people.
Yeah, join Patreon.
Join the Patreon. It would be very hard to say no, and not if the opportunity literally, like, if they just showed up at my door and said, and "We know what you've said about Substack in the past. We think you'd be great."
Similarly, oh gosh, and I don't even want to say this out loud. I've already started, so I'm going to do it. In my PR efforts for this new album, one of the things that we just got invited to do was like go to the Spotify office and play our album for them.
Ooh.
And like, I'm probably going to end up doing it, but like, it's the sort of thing where like, I was reminded of it when you said that Substack would show up at your door. Like, we know what you said about us. It's like, I wonder if Spotify has any idea, like the sort of things that I say about them all the time. But they're also, the revenue that they provide, even though it's not as much as it should be, is very important to my life. I don't know. It's wow. But I wanted to draw your hypothetical out just a little bit. Let's say that this job offer happened. Let's say that you decided you were going to take it. Would you let people know that you took it?
Oh, I don't. I mean, if it's Substack, I don't think I have a choice.
Yeah. Why?
Oh, I mean, I think I would. For one thing, if anything, they'd hire me for would probably be like
public facing.
Public facing. I do think I would not work for OpenAI. I mean, I can imagine the number that I would want from them in order to justify working for them is not like a number that they would like.
Right.
I might.
The shareholders would not approve of that number.
They'd be like, "No, we're not doing a 7-figure salary for you to come on and like test our."
If you're gonna sell out, sell high for sure.
But Substack, if Substack came in and offered me like mid 6 figures for a public facing role, I would have a hard time saying no.
Mm-hmm.
It would depend on what they want me to do. And I also know that I would have to just take it. If people got mad, I'd have to just take it. Yeah. And there is no ethical production under capitalism, basically. I think about it all the time, you know. Especially when things get really close and I'm looking on LinkedIn at all the people who have like corporate jobs. I mean, the worst one, this guy that works at OpenAI is the one that I always kind of stop on him. Like he was a real journalist. He was a serious journalist.
Out there doing the work.
Yeah.
But do you apply for jobs a lot?
I do not.
I understand. I told you my experience. Like, and I had 6 months of soul crushing, empty application sending and cover letter writing, and I just decided I was done. I couldn't take that sort of rejection for something I didn't really want to do.
I honestly don't believe people get jobs off LinkedIn.
That's very likely. I mean, most jobs these days are just based on relationships.
I think that's relationships. Yeah. I think that my time is best spent trying to foster relationships. I did apply for. This is a great piece of truth telling. I did apply to work at the Apple store over Christmas. That felt like non-humiliating. It's kind of a cool job, and it'd sort of be interesting.
What would your position be?
Maybe like sales store? For Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I've been in the Apple ecosystem my entire life, like since my dad had one of the very first Macs. So I'm very, well versed in all the different kind of pretty much back end of Macs. And it doesn't pay like hugely, but I've gone to the Apple store enough and chatted with people there that there are a lot of people there who do it to just kind of fill out a blank space in their work life and who have other jobs. And it seems like a kind of like all the kind of retail jobs you could have. It's a cool store.
All right, last question about that.
Yeah.
If you do it, are you going to write about it?
Of course. That's the other reason.
That's what I figured.
The other reason to do it is content, right? Like it'd be interesting.
That's right. It's a layup.
It'd be interesting to work at the Apple store during Christmas, see what happens, write about it. There's good content. Mike, it has been amazing to catch up with you. We should do it more. I think we should do it more. We should build in more time for me and you to talk. I think we should. We've become, I think, pretty good friends just doing the show, but I miss just talking to you one-on-one. So.
Yes, and I think that there's some degree to which, because we don't talk like this enough, I don't bring enough of my life to our conversations. And I think it would be good for you to know my life better. So that's another good reason.
I had no idea you were going through this awful breakup for a year.
No, it was so weird. It was so weird to have.
Now everyone
not
knows.
Have to, but that's
Doomed is available August
14th.
August 14th. And people should check out my Patreon, which is Anna Marie Cox Dose. That means
Get the Lithium Diaries.
Lithium Diaries.
Past Due is hosted by Anna Marie Cox and Open Mike Eagle. It's produced by Andrew Stephen. You can find more at pastduepodcast.com. Help support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/pastdue. You'll get bonus content, extended interviews, and more. As always, if you like what we're doing, another way to help is by subscribing, sharing the show, and leaving us a review. Thanks for listening.
There are a bunch of ways to prevent crime that no one is talking about, like how wind direction can make your community more violent or peaceful, and how GLP-1 meds could reduce felonies. This is Fighting Crime, where we ask the big questions. What if we've been having the wrong conversations about crime?
Two policies, ban the box and clean slate, don't seem to be helping, even though they sounded like they should or they would.
I'm your host, Christina Quinn. I'm going across the country from prisons to universities, police chiefs to inmates, to look at the evidence and question everything we think we know about how to make America safer.
Economists think a lot about how people respond to incentives. If we want to reduce crime and change behavior, we need to increase the costs or reduce the benefit.
Join us as we figure out new ways to fight crime and be prepared to think differently. Fighting Crime. Listen or watch on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify.
Lee C. Camp here. If you've been enjoying this show, I think you might enjoy my podcast, No Small Endeavor, produced by Great Feeling Studios and PRX. No Small Endeavor explores what it means to live a good life. We sit down with courageous, impassioned people like actor Martin Sheen or civil rights hero James Lawson to ask what it means to live a life worth living. Follow No Small Endeavor wherever you get your podcasts. Living a good life is no small endeavor, and we would love to help.